Lash certification or lash licensing? Which one to do? Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Soulful Lashes. My name is Natalie, your host, and today we're going to be talking about lash regulations and standards. So one of the big arguments that's amongst the lash community is whether to be licensed or certified. What's right, what's wrong. Now, I am not the judge and jury. This is strictly my own opinion, and you take whatever I say with a grain of salt and then do what your gut is telling you to do. Okay? So, the first thing I want to talk about is what is a lash certification and what is a lash licensing, and what is the difference? Where should you start today, 2025? So, here's the thing. With me, when it came to my opinion, I did not, I'm going to tell you my personal story. I did not get my license for a very long time. I started with a $500 lash certification course before lashing was popular. I'm talking about when you had to pick up the lashes out the tray. They didn't even come out of strip about a decade ago. And so for me, I didn't even know what to research. I just remember seeing a girl do it online and I was like, I want to do this. And once I got my financial aid refund from the school, I did it. Best decision of my life. If you're thinking of being a lash tech, be it. Trust me, even if it's not your career, it'll only add to your life. So me, I didn't get my licensing probably till the seventh, eighth year. And in my opinion, it wasn't worth it unless you wanted to be an esthetician. I'm from Florida, where there isn't very clear regulations about what a lash tech should have. So some states, like the state of Texas, does require that you have a lash license. While Florida doesn't have really clear regulations on what a lash tech is required. Most people would recommend that you get your esthetician license, although they don't really teach that in esthetician school. It does allow you to get licensed. Now, I would recommend looking up your state because unfortunately, across the 52 states, there isn't one clear regulation. It is really depending on the state. Now, I will tell you why I'm for licensing and then I will tell you why I'm for certification. So, I'm for certification because if you get your certification, you can start working immediately. So, let's say you take a 3-day course like the ones I offer, and you want to start taking clients in a month. You just want to practice, you want to get past it, you want to start taking clients in a month and see if it's something you really want to do. I would do a certification course. The second thing that makes certification a bit easier is that typically the classes are one on one and you're learning from someone who's experienced, who's doing life the way you are, just figuring it out like I did. Another reason is that we all have our own unique techniques. Even if you do get licensing, I would still recommend that you continue to take certification courses because the licensing is just basic application, maybe basic volume. But if you want to do Russian, if you really want to know how to do the layers or the anime style and different techniques, then you're going to need to continue to take certifications just like in any other career in order for you to gain that skill set. So I'm for certifications. However, I'm also for licensing. What is the reason behind that? The reason is that with licensing, you have people who aren't as hygienically clean or do not understand the science behind it and don't understand the risks behind it. And because of that, it can cause issues. We have to realize that we are working with people's eyes, that this is something that's very important, very sensitive, and sometimes people can get callous about it. I've been to salons where the lash tech had the tweezer in the drawer and just whipped it out. I've been to salon where they they didn't use barbicide, or they didn't use soap and water, or they didn't spray the tweezers in between clients, or they didn't sanitize the bed. Like, it is still very important to follow proper protocols, COVID or not. We are dealing with an organ that is very, very important with people. So when it comes to that, I am for licensing because I think it will educate people on the background, not just the craft of lashing, but also what is required to make sure that you're not harming anyone, or moving in a way that is ignorant that can harm someone. So I'm for it. Now, I don't know about the 200 or 60 or 180, don't quote me, amount of hours that it would take. I guess that it would equate to the same as if you were doing certification and continue to practice on people. So that does work. And it does allow you as well, if you have your license in certain states, to be insured to make sure that you are covered if something happens and that your client is also covered. I also know some salon suites will not rent out to you without being licensed, which may limit you to having to work at home. While I am still an advocate of working at home because I worked home for a while, I had a lash room. And when I got to the salon suite, I still preferred working at home. It was just more convenient. But if you don't want to work from home and you want to be able to have your business address and be, professional and actually take this business serious, you will need your lash license. You will need to be licensed. So should you do the lash certification? Should you do the licensing? I say do both. Which order you decide to do it is completely up to you. I don't fault people who decide to do the certification and then go get the license. And I don't fault people who do the licensing and go get the certification. I truly don't believe that one is better than the other. They both gain the experience. I think the best lash techs are not going to argue if I'm better because I'm certified, if I'm better because I'm licensed. I think the best lash techs are going to take both of them and make the best sets that they can. And whoever continues to learn is honestly the person who's winning in this business. When you stop learning, or you think you better, or you think that you don't have to learn anything anymore, or that you've been doing it so long that you just have it in the bag, I think that's where you lose. So if you want to take a lash certification course, or you want to take your lash licensing course, I say go for it. If you want to get your esthetician license, I say go for it. That falls under the scope, and it gives you some additional skills, like if you want to do facials and stuff. However, that was not my portion, although I did get licensed as an esthetician, and I like skincare for personal reasons, not to do on other people. Um, Outside of that, I would say if you are looking to be a certified lash, the first thing I will do is check the credentials of the lash tech. I'm not saying go look up their license number. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying look how far back you can see their work. I'm saying, do they have a website, or did they just slap something together that said, hey, I'm doing classes for 500? I'm saying ask question about what happens post class. Like, are they going to ghost you, or are they going to respond? What's going to happen if you have questions? Are they going to answer the questions? Do they seem knowledgeable? I would write down a list of questions. They might be annoyed, but if they get annoyed, they're probably not the best instructor for you. I would write down a list of questions. I would just interrogate them to make sure that you're a good fit and that they're going to teach you something and not just take your money. Because I did take a couple of courses where I walked out and felt like I didn't learn anything. And I personally have had times where I may have had too much students in a class, and it didn't allow me to connect with them one on one. So I transitioned to never having more than two, three in one setting. Most of the time, it's one on one, unless I try to reduce the price. Here is a gem. Just look just look for the person who you connect with, okay? Like, at the end of the day, I don't think there's any wrong or right way of doing things. I think it just depends on what season you are in and what journey you desire to take. So, based off of that, for me, I did what I felt, what I was capable of, because I did see a course, but it was $3,200, and I couldn't pay that. But I could have paid $500. Unfortunately, I got $500 worth of training. So also, don't try to be too cheap, but don't think that the most expensive means it's better as well. Just research and look at the questions. And if you have questions, go ahead and comment them below, and I will do my best to respond. If you made it this far into my video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Liking keeps me posting, keeps me creating videos like this. It keeps me encouraged, and it keeps the information going out to reach those who actually need